Hey everyone, Mary from SVGCuts here with all kinds of really fun camping related projects for summer, whether it's a summer birthday or with Father's Day coming up. I hope these come in handy. And also fall is a good camping time too. So if you made some of these with some fall pattern paper, I think that would be super cute also. So of course we have our really cute little trailer here done up in like a vintage style. And it has quite a lot of little details and little pieces, so it's not really like a real quick whip together thing, obviously. You probably wouldn't have thought that anyway. But just to make it more fun, you can put it on top of this cute little box and put some stuff in it and give it to someone special. And it's so fun to decorate with all the little touches. So we also have our really cute little campfire box here. And I think it's really cool because it's shaped like an X, but the sides kind of come up, so it looks really playful and fun and super cute as well. So I think that'd be fun to, stuff with maybe some M&Ms or some little candies or whatever. So we also have our little s'more box, which looks super tasty and delicious. And I think it's really cute. This was actually Leo's idea, to rub a brown ink pad on the marshmallow to make it look toasted. And if I can get this ribbon off here easily, you can see that you can open it up and it's optional. You can put a cute little gift card in there if you want to, because it's just the perfect size for a gift card. So we also have two coordinating cards that go with a flat version of the trailer, as well as this cute little lantern with this cute little firefly on the front of it. So this time the paper that I used is by Echo Park and it's called the Happy Camper Collection. And I got it on 2peasinabucket.com. It's super cute and playful, nice colors, cute little images and little tents and all that. They also have a 6x6 pad, which I think comes in handy for when you're cutting out a real small piece. Sometimes it's nice to have the paper on a smaller scale. It can be nice. And when I was on 2 Peas in a Bucket, I also saw another camping themed paper collection. I forget who it was by, but there's a lot of cute ones out there. So I've got all my pieces cut out to show you how these three-dimensional items go together. So let's get started. So first of all, for our trailer, I've got most of the pieces laid out here, like the basic pieces, such as I went ahead and put the door here on this little crazy piece. And I've got this main part of the trailer, and I went ahead and glued these two longer curtains on the inside of the open large window, and then I went ahead and glued these pieces on the front window here. So we've also got the two sides of the trailer and the bottom here, and I went ahead and put one of these little cubes in place, which I'll show you here in just a minute. The other one looks like this. And then of course we've got the color on the body of the trailer, which is going to go here. Once I get it a little bit more together, we'll be putting these other pieces on. So we've also got these other two cream colored pieces, and these go on at the end, and these are here for embossing. Like as you can see, I embossed this striped embossing here on the front and on the top. So that embossing folder it's really the only striped one I had. It's called Notebook by Sizzix, and it just makes it look more like a trailer, I think. So let's dive right into the main body of our trailer, which is really just these four pieces here, the top, the two sides, and the bottom. So first I want to put the front of the trailer on, which is this piece here with the fin pointing towards the back, and the back of the trailer is the large window. So I know that that's going to go in the back and the front is going to be here. So let's start by I could put glue on each little tab, but I think it's actually easier to put a line of glue on the inside about halfway around. I would put it all the way around, but I'm afraid it'll dry before the time I can work my way around. So as you can see, I've just lined up the first tab here, and I just want to give it a moment to dry before I move on to the next tab. And this first one is a tiny bit tricky because it's kind of curved, but just do your best and let it dry. and move on to the next tab and just hold it while it dries for a little bit, and then move on to the next one, just repeating the same thing, allowing it to dry. So now basically what we're going to do is just work our way all the way around, doing the same thing until we get to the other side. And once I get to maybe about the top here, I'm going to pause and do something a little bit different. So let's just work our way all the way up to somewhere around the top, just gluing all those tabs. So as you can see, I've glued my tabs all the way up to the center up here. And then instead of just continuing to work my way down, I'm just worried that if it's a little bit off, when I get to this bottom point, it might be a little off. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to this other side and then work my way back up to the center. So again, I'm just putting a nice line of glue all the way around, and then I'm lining up the bottom here with this first tab. And again, I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, and I'm going to go one at a time, giving it a chance to dry as I go. And it's kind of just falling into place, so it's not too hard, actually. And at this point, I'm going to set it down on the table and press down from the inside to make sure that my tabs are nice and flat. And there we go. I did a nice job. So now for the back side, same exact thing. It's maybe a little bit easier because the shape is already taking shape. It's just maybe a little bit trickier to get your hand in there possibly, but really not. It's really the same principle. So go ahead and put the back on the same way. So now I've got my back on, as you can see, and when I look at it from the other side, it's pretty close to perfect. This probably wouldn't bother you if it's like this, but if you really want to get more tedious, you can trim off. If you see any extra paper, just barely trim it off a little bit. You can even take some sandpaper and just sand that down a little bit if you really want to get meticulous. So next, since we can still reach in from the inside, before we put the bottom on, it might be nice to put our side pieces in place. So as you can see, this colored piece goes right here, and then you can see where the tire goes. And a little tiny circle goes in the middle of the tire. And then, since this is the back side, this plain stripe goes right here. And then your little fin also goes up here. So that's the back, but on the front, you can put your piece like this, which looks a little different. It has a little stair here, and that just goes right here, and your door goes right here, as well as the other tire and the little circle in the center of the tire, as well as your little fin. And if you want to emboss this piece and put it on here, you can also. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the front of our trailer. And as you can probably guess, this piece goes here, as well as this little tiny brown piece. And then on the back, this little small piece goes here, as well as this little brown piece here. So now we can go ahead and put if you want to use this piece, if you want to emboss it, it just wraps around the top of your little trailer. As you can see on the top of mine, it's embossed. And then finally, we can flip it upside down, take our bottom, and there are two little cubes that look like this. All I want to do is put some glue on the side tab and fold it around to form a little cube. And then we can put a dot of glue on all three of these little tabs and fold that little flap closed there. And now all that's left to do is poke it through this opening here in the bottom, and then put a dot of glue on all 4 sides and finish pushing that through and glue the flaps down. And at this point it helps to lay it down on a flat surface and press down. So now, as you can probably guess, the bottom just goes on like this, and it doesn't matter which way it goes, it's symmetrical that way. So all we're going to do is just put glue on all of these tabs here, all 6 of them. And I'm just doing like a quick little rush job here. You can be more careful with your glue if you want to, but you get the idea. You just stick it right on there, line it up as best you can, and voila. And then just to finish off the rest of the embellishments, we've got our lawn flamingo here, which is 2 layers thick, and in between the 2 layers there's 2 glue dots with a piece of wire that I bent in half, and then I just used some glue dots here to secure the pennants underneath these 2 little like bling things there. So let's take a look at the lid of our trailer, and as you can see, it's just these 2 long pieces and then 2 circles, one of which is a little bit larger than the other. So take the larger one, set the other one aside, and the bottom of this box works in the same exact way. It's just a little bit taller. So all I'm going to do here is put glue on this long tab, and the reason it's so long is to help the whole thing have a nice curvature to it. And there's also there's a tiny little score line I can see here, which helps me line up this piece nice and even. And before the glue completely dries, you want to kind of give it a little bit of a curve. And then we'll just do the same thing on the other side. And hopefully this little box comes in handy, because even if you're not making the trailer, you can make this little box anytime for anything with any kind of paper. And you can just stick a cute little bow on it or do whatever you want. Even just make it with cute paper and it would be really cute for a gift or whatever. And again, we want to make sure it's kind of curving a little bit. So there we go. Now we can just bend all these over, and as you could probably guess, we're just going to put glue on all these tabs. And so we can either put glue on all these and go around, or maybe to make it a little easier, let's put the glue on this piece, because it's easier to just glide it all the way around. And I'm trying to get as close to the edge as possible without getting so close that the glue is going to come squishing out the sides. And then for me, I just think it's way easier to just do it all at once. You might think it's easier to try to go more, to spread it out and do a few at a time or something, but I think it's easier to just kind of adjust it as it dries and just do it all at once. Because while it's still wet, you can adjust it a little bit and kind of feel around and see that it's nice and even. So mine is pretty darn close to perfect, but I can still flip it over and press down from the other side. And if I notice that I have any kind of like overhang on the top, I can take my handy little scissors and maybe just trim it off. Like right here, it's hanging off a little bit, so I can just really carefully just kind of trim that off. And if I want to get real meticulous, I can take some sandpaper and sand that off real nice. Then we just take our smaller circle, glue that in the middle to finish it off, and there's your lid. So next for our s'more, we've got all the pieces laid out here, and I've got it laid out from the bottom to the top. So obviously this graham cracker up here is the top because it's got all these little holes in it. And then we've got our marshmallow here, our chocolate, and the bottom graham cracker. So first I'm going to start out by just putting some glue on these 2 tabs here in one of the corners. And it's the same thing on all 4 corners. And we just want to kind of weave them together like this. And make sure the bottom one is in place first. Let it dry for a second. And then make sure the top one is lined up also. So these sides actually bend the other way. So what we're going to do is the same thing all the way around. Just put them together like so on all 4 sides. So here's my bottom. I can go ahead and if I want to use this little insert, I can glue that inside, put a gift card in there. And then next we've got our chocolate layer, which is basically the lid of the box. And again, this is just super straightforward. All I'm going to do is on all 4 sides, just glue that tab right into place. So here we go, it's the main part of the box. This is the box itself. Everything else on top is really just a decoration on top of the lid. So next let's take a look at our marshmallow. And we've got 2 pieces like this. So let's glue them together by putting glue on this side tab here. And then doing the same thing on the other side. So next, what we're going to do is choose either the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter which one. And we're going to start gluing this ring into place to make the marshmallow hold its shape. So I'm going to line up one of these tabs here with one side of this ring. I'm going to give it a chance to dry, and then I'm going to work my way around the ring, doing the same thing all the way around. And no one's going to see this ring. It doesn't really have to be perfect. And actually, if it's a little off, it's kind of cute, because if you look at pictures of s'mores, they're all sloppy and like crooked, and so you can give yourself a license to not be perfect, I think. So just do the same thing all the way around, working your way one at a time, being sure to give each one enough time to dry before you move on to the next one. So here's our marshmallow taking shape. Now we've also got 12 of these little pieces, and all you want to do is kind of curve it a little bit ahead of time, and then just put glue on the very top and the very bottom, and then just line up the top here, give it a chance to dry, and then line up the bottom as well. And at this point, if you want to go ahead and take a brown ink pad and just kind of casually and messily just rub it around the whole entire marshmallow to give it like a toasted look, that looks really cute. So go ahead and do that with all 12 pieces, and then we can go ahead and put glue on all 12 of these tabs here. And at this point, if you have a hot glue gun handy, I found that it worked a little better for me to use a hot glue gun at this point to glue the marshmallow down. It just wants to, I'm just going to take this off because it's not on all the way. So I've got my marshmallow in place, and I'm just reaching in from the inside to push down on all 12 of these tabs. And of course, I just want to center it pretty well. As long as it's mostly centered, that's fine. If it's a little off, it's actually kind of cute. And now we can finish it off by putting together our final graham cracker here, which I will do by putting glue on a side tab and folding it in, working my way around to all 4 corners. And again, this part is nice and simple and straightforward. So it's pretty darn easy. And I'm just kind of slapping my glue on there. I'm not really being nice and precise. But as long as you get the idea, that's all that matters to me right now. And there's my final fourth corner piece. And then, as you can probably guess, what I'm going to do next here is put glue on all three of these tabs, fold this down, make sure that it's lined up real nice as it's drying. And then you can use regular glue, but if you have a hot glue gun, put 1 or 2 real fat rings of hot glue all the way around the top of this ring, and then just place your graham cracker right on the top in the middle. And then you could even flip it over to let it dry and let gravity pull down on the glue. So finally, for our little campfire here, I'm going to put together the lid, which is essentially the same concept as the bottom. So if you see the lid, you can also do the bottom. And we've got these 2 long pieces, and then we've got 2 like plus sign shapes. One of them's a little bit larger with some score lines. That's the lid itself. This is a liner, which is going to go on at the end on the inside. So let's start by putting some glue on the side tab of one of these pieces and gluing it to the other one. And then I will do the same thing on the other side. And just glue that right into place. So now basically what we need to take a look at is, as you can see, this one here is basically just a straight rectangle. The other ones are kind of curved or slanted on the sides. So the straight ones are these pieces here, this, this, and this. So the inside is a little bit slanted. So I want to bend these slanted pieces in, and as you can see, I have formed the basic shape of my lid. So I'm going to go one side at a time, and by that I mean the 3 tabs of one side, like this. And I'm going to start by putting one into place here, lining it up as best I can, giving it a chance to dry, and then putting the side piece in place. And I'm getting a little crazy and messy with my glue here, but what are you going to do? It happens. And then I'll just put the other one into place. So then, in order to easily get to the glue on the other one, it helps to kind of just pinch it right there with your thumb and your finger, and then it's easily accessible for glue. And everything kind of just falls into place. So just do that all the way around the top of your lid until you've got the whole top of the lid glued to the sides. So here's my lid all in place, and I'm just going to put some glue on this piece and just glue that inside to finish it off real nice. So now let's take a look at our flames, and we've got one large orange piece. We've got this little strip that's kind of like an open-ended cube. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the side tab and give that a chance to dry here. We've also got this piece and then these yellow pieces. So at this point, if you want to go ahead and decorate your orange piece with your yellow pieces however you want, you can just glue them right on. You can use pop dots, you can emboss them, whatever creativity strikes your fancy is awesome. And then I'm going to put this little cube piece on the inside, and I want to make sure that it's hidden when you look at the front of it. So this is where I want to put mine. So I'll just put a dot of glue inside here. And this is after I've put my yellow pieces on. So pretend like I already put my yellow pieces on, and you should go ahead and put yours on before you put this little cube inside. So I can fold it up, and I want to make sure that it's It's pretty much level, it's good enough. And then all I'm going to do is just put glue on this bottom part, glue it right to the center, and I can glue this whole thing right to the center of my wood. Unless you want to use the embossing layer, which goes on first, and then put your flames on. And by embossing layer, I mean, as you can see, this lighter piece of paper here, I embossed before I put my flames on. So there you have it, super fun little camping projects. I hope you have fun making them, and if you do, you'll definitely have to share a picture on our Facebook wall or on your blog or on Instagram or what have you. So thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting!
Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content, with you in the middle. SVGCuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.